Your life, your wahala, your breakthrough, idea. Welcome to the chat room.
This no be ordinary place. Now a solution they show face. LadyMary they lead the way. With guests we go blow your brain. Talk your matter make we solve 'em. No judgment, just love and wisdom. We dey discuss, we dey learn. Every episode you go feel the burn. The chat room. Now here we define the way. The chat room.
Oh yes.
We go talk and clear, no delay. No delay. It's interactive, educative, informative, and unapologetic. The chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie. You. The chat room. We unstoppable, no be lie. You.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening to you all. Good morning, depending on what time it may be at your end. My name is LadyMary Boadu. I am your host for the chat room, a platform dedicated to resolving daily life issues. Today, we are continuing our discussion on our heart health. And if you are someone that listens to us often, then you realize that every month we come up with a topic and we make sure that we've delved into it from different angles before we moving on to another topic. And this month, again, we're looking at heart health. So we had the honor of dear Dr. James Ekow joining us, and for the first week, and then last week we had our very Dr. Ruby joined us. And so today we are back here again with Dr. Ekow-Annan Jr. to delve more into obesity and what it entails, or maybe perhaps how it starts and how does that, if that perhaps has any effect on our heart health. And so that is why we are here today. And I hope my volume is okay. So, okay.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
okay. So while we are waiting for our guest for today, we wanted to come on board and just to chat on what we've learned so far. I think we've learned quite a lot. Nana, what do you think? For the past, this is our third week. So for the past 2 weeks.
Definitely. I know I have. With Dr. Ekow last 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. He touched on how the things that we eat and the things that goes in our body affects our heart. And, he explained how the heart valve works and how it's a muscle. And if you keep basically putting the wrong things in it, then eventually it's going to result in defect. So,
And I really love how the illustration, the simplest way he put the valve issue, comparing it to like a car tire. I thought that's like the simplest way I had.
if you over pump it, then it's going to explode.
Like I've never thought of it that way, so I thought that was really cool. That
Yeah.
was interesting.
Yeah, and then last week with Dr. Ruby, very insightful conversation, about nutrition. I'm putting some things in place.
Place.
I've been good this week. I think this week I worked out like every single day except for
Nice.
because you have to give your body a rest. So I did at least like 30 minutes of something every single day. I had to wake up at like 5:30 and get it done. Like how she was saying, she talks to herself all the time, get up, and do it. That's what I had to do. Talk to myself. You got to get up, even. And the thing is, sometimes you're tired. You don't want to do it. But what I found out is when you do it, it actually gives you energy. Like you're so tired, you don't want to get up to work out, right? Because a lot of times that's our excuse. We don't want to do it because we're tired. But I'm finding that when you actually do it, you get a burst of energy. Like, I feel on my way to work, I feel good. Like your body just feels good. So, I think I might be able to keep it, make a lifestyle of it. So, yeah. Oh, hi, Dr. James.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for waiting for me.
No problem.
So, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
You're on mute, by the way, lady.
Yeah. It really.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were just kind of touching on what we've learned so far from you and from last week, and both insightful and very educational conversations that we had. So we're excited about today.
Right. Thanks. I'm glad to be here. So are we live yet?
Yes, we are. We are live.
We're live?
Yeah, we were live when we're talking.
Right. So today we're going to talk about obesity.
Before you even get into it, Doc, 1 second. Can you hear me, Nana?
I can hear you.
Can you guys?
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
I can hear him, but I don't know if he can hear me. Can you hear me?
LadyMary
Yes, we can hear you.
He said I'm muted.
She's not muted.
Oh, okay.
I can hear her.
I can't, but that's fine. That's okay.
Well, we want to make sure that you can hear me.
Let me just pull this up.
So should I go and come back in or what, Nana?
Well, I don't know if it's on his end or on your end. Because she's gonna be putting
me. I can hear him.
She can hear you. You still can hear her?
I can't hear her, but that's okay.
Okay. Go back and come back. Go out and come back in, James.
Okay.
Let's try that.
Yeah,
that's
because I think it's on his end. Since I can hear you clearly and he can hear me.
And I can hear him too, but he can hear me. And my volume is actually pretty high.
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear you pretty clear.
Okay. Yeah, so as we were saying, Nana, yeah, I think it's a good thing. And most people that work out, they tend to, yeah, this is weird because even Mr. Ahinaba can actually hear all three of us. But let's try it again.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
Right.
Put you back in the, okay, there we
So,
go. Okay, so I was saying that I have a quick question for you. Do you have slides or files or just the images?
no, just the images. And even with the images, we just pull them up when we have to.
Okay, because we can only pull up to 10. Just so
Okay.
that's fine. Okay,
All right. And we're not going to pull them all together.
that's fine.
I don't want to make it I want to make it as less academic as possible,
Okay,
because people relate more with like talks rather than
okay,
lectures.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, but before you chime in, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us what you do, where you're located, and all of that good stuff.
Right. Hi, my name is James. I'm a doctor. I work in primary care, but my job is mainly diagnostics. So I diagnose people, and then other doctors take it on from there. I am from Ghana. I am not married yet. I have no kids yet. Um, I'm an entrepreneur. I broker international businesses, and yes, that's what I do.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
You're not married, you're single, but are you looking or do you have someone? Just so the ladies out there, they're clear.
Oh yeah. I'm out of reach for now. I'm out of bounds.
He's out
I
of
have
reach.
someone. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
For now. You said for
Yeah, for
now.
now. For now, yeah, yeah.
For now. Okay, so maybe later.
Out of
Yeah.
bounds,
Yeah.
out of reach. So if someone
Yes.
is eyeing you, they should stop eyeing you, basically.
Yeah.
Just jot it
I
down.
mean,
He said for now, so maybe later.
no, I cannot tell people what to do, but I can only tell them what I will do. And what I will do is that at the moment I am off the market. So they can continue and hoping, but I'm off the market for now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just messing with you, anyways. But we're
For
gonna
now.
get
So
yeah
out.
for now. Now you're gonna
Yeah.
all right. For now, let's get.
So we're going to talk about obesity for now, okay?
All right, you keep the ball rolling. We're here. We are all ears.
All
But
right.
before
So
quickly, please, if you're joining us, you're welcome. If today's your first time, welcome to the chat room. We sent out the links to everyone. Doc, you should have it. Nanaya should also have it as well. And you don't have it? Nanaya, oh, you have it. Okay, you have it. Sure. I've sent it out, so everyone should
I
have
was
it.
on mute. Sorry, I had it.
No, that's okay. And if you're just joining us for the first time, you are welcome. You are. Oyima says just I. just I with one. Yes.
Just one eye.
yeah, just I with one for now.
Yes. But yes, if you're just tuning in for the first time, you're welcome. Please feel free to click on the share button. And then if you believe that you have people that can benefit from our discussions, as always, it's educative, interactive, and pretty informative. So we encourage you to share with your loved ones as well. Doc, please go ahead and take over. God bless you.
Right. God bless you too. Anyway, so when we talk about obesity, different people, I believe everyone has heard about obesity before, right? And obesity is actually defined not just by saying someone is fat or someone is big or stuff like that. Before we go about anything, we have to talk about what obesity is. And obesity technically means that you being in a BMI of, so first you have to talk about something called a BMI. Okay, that is every person's body has the body mass index, which is calculated as the mass over the height squared. Well, that's not the most relevant thing. The most relevant thing is that there's a particular weight. Let's say if someone weighs 60 kilograms or 110 pounds, and the person's height is 150 centimeters, or I don't know what 150 centimeters is in feet. And then another person has the same weight and the other person is taller, their BMIs are different. Okay. So people think about obesity just by the value of your weight on the scale, but it's not about your weight on the scale. It's about your body mass index. So it's about your weight in relation to your height. So if you are a short person, your acceptable weight should be less than a taller person, So if one short person weighs 100 pounds and then another person weighs 100 pounds, but then the person who is taller, the taller person who weighs 100 pounds would be much more healthier than the shorter person who weighs 100 pounds. That's also because there's muscle mass, which is heavier, you know. So it's not only about the weight on the scale, but it's about the BMI. So anything between 18 and 25 is what we consider as normal BMI. And then you'd have the BMIs, which you have people who are slightly overweight, people who are overweight, and people who are obese and extremely obese. So there are different categories, right? The problem is that we think about obesity that, oh, your obesity is going to kill you. Obesity in itself will not kill you. But then what obesity does to you, in most cases, your heart is what is going to kill you. Okay. So there are a few key points that I want us to look at. Is that number one, heart diseases, as we discussed last week, it's one of the number one leading causes of deaths all over the world, right? And now there's a big pandemic, especially in the United States, of obesity. You know, because now you see everyone being bigger than the average weight running about. You know, you see children and young adults being much bigger than they were 30 years ago. That's also because of the kind of food we eat and stuff like that. And most people would say that, oh, you're fine, until one fine day, you're no longer fine. So that's the problem. Now,
Yeah.
obesity simply means too much body fat, not just extra weight. Okay, because as I said earlier, muscle mass is much heavier than fat. Actually, you know, I'm sure the people who like meats and stuff like that, when you go and buy the meat, you want the muscle of it. You know, you want the muscle mass. If you weigh it, it's much heavier than the part which is just fatty. So there are people who go to the gym, for example, and then they work out their muscles a lot, and so they would weigh a particular number which may seem too big or which may seem big, but then they look okay, right? That's because that weight is not coming from fat. And then you'd have other people who would weigh the same, but they look much more, you know, bigger. That's because it's not muscle, but then it is fat. So I sent a picture of the apple and the pear. LadyMary is going to project that.
You're muted.
Now, saying that, let me be sure that we were able to upload that one. Because
so anyway, she's going to project it at some point.
StreamYard gives you up to 10
But basically, I can't hear you, LadyMary.
Oh, okay. She said she's trying to see if she'll be able to project it because StreamYard,
I can't hear Nanaya too.
Oh, okay. So that it's you. Go out and come back in.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll say that StreamYard.
Yep.
StreamYard allowed 10 pictures at a go. You said an apple and a pear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we might have to, but I'll have to, if you can keep talking, I'll try to take something.
All right.
And bring. Oh, okay. We have it right here. Okay.
So you see the two women projected. The apple lady and you see the pear lady. These two would potentially have the same on the weighing scale. You'd be surprised. There are times where you see two people, they have the same weight, but they look completely different. Why? Because the lady with the apple shape, as you can see around her tummy area, there's a lot of visceral fat, right? And then the other lady is kind of toned, and so she may have much more muscle. The pear lady may have much more muscle than the apple lady. So even though they may all weigh the same, but obviously you can see that their body shapes are not the same. So the apple lady has more fat, and then the pear lady has less fat but more muscle mass. And so that's what's going to account for that. So you being obese is not always just about the scale, right? It's your weight, which is relative to your height. Okay. So we start from there. The thing is this: fat is not just like sitting there in your body. but then it does something. It affects your blood pressure, it affects your cholesterol, and it affects your blood sugar. Okay. Now, obesity mainly affects the cardiovascular system, which we spoke about last 2 weeks. So the cardiovascular system, as the name suggests, you have the heart and you have all the vessels in your body making up the cardiovascular system. So think about it this way: that the heart is a pump, okay, and then the blood vessels are the pipes which carry the blood around the pump, the around the body. So there are the arteries and then there are the veins. They have to always stay patent. They have to, they have to move through at a particular speed. So think about it this way: anything which makes the blood thicker, anything which makes the pipes narrower, or anything which overworks the heart, which is the pump system, causes some damage to this system. All right. So number one, if you have fat, literally, and there are some people that even when you draw their blood, you can see like a layer of fat, in the blood bottle. So if you
Oh,
have, yeah, if you have a lot of fat in your blood, obviously your blood becomes thicker and your blood moves slower. So there's a problem there. Also, you could have some fat staying around everywhere in your heart, which kind of makes your heart dysfunctional, right? So we're going to talk about how it affects your heart. High blood pressure. Obviously, the heart has to, the blood has to move within a particular speed. If the blood becomes thicker, it has to be pumped with much more force, so the pressure is increased. I sent a picture of the impact of hypertension on blood vessels. She's gonna share it. And also, what happens is that, as we discussed the other time, let's say you're about 25 or 28, and your body weight is maybe 70 kilograms. I'm just inventing, right? Your heart has to supply blood to 70 kilograms worth of weight. But now, at some point, you're no longer 70, you're 140, or you're
I'm going to project. I have two different pictures, but I can't see the writing. So let me know if it happens to be the right one, not this one, right?
no,
Is it this one? This one.
okay, okay, let's go back to the other one.
Okay.
Right. So as you can see here, like a healthy heart is the left one, and an obese heart is the other one, the right one. You see all the fatty layers around the heart is not supposed to be there, right? But also, if your body weight was probably 70 kilos, and then now your body weight is 200 kilos, 150 kilos, the same heart, which was pumping blood all through the body, has to now overwork itself. So think about it this way: I have a small sedan, a small saloon car, and then now you have to use the same engine which was powering that car in a truck. Okay, I mean, you're going to overwork the engine, you're going to overload the engine, and that's what happens to your heart in obesity. So the heart is a muscle, right? Don't forget the muscle. And so the more you work out the heart actually thickens. Exactly. And then just like, think of the gym. You go to the gym, you always work out your biceps and your triceps, and then your biceps and triceps thicken to overcome the load. The same thing happens with the heart. So the more you do all these kind of, like, the more the heart overworks itself, the heart grows bigger, and you get a condition called cardiomegaly, which is being projected there. Now, the problem with cardiomegaly is that there are times where your heart is growing bigger, and as it's growing bigger, you see there are the chambers of the heart where the blood is pumped from. That gets smaller, and so the active amount of blood which your heart can pump out actually gets reduced. So then you see a lot of obese people gasping for breath, even when they are doing normal things. They keep breathing very deeply and gasping for breath, unlike regular people. Okay. So there's that. Then there's high cholesterol and blocked arteries, atherosclerosis. I sent some pictures as well, should project them. But as we said, that there are the pipes, and so the pipes have to always stay patent for the blood to move through. Now, thank you very much. When you have high cholesterol and you have your obese, which is mainly secondary to fat, you see, if you look at the picture here, you see the lumen, which is the space in the artery where blood flows. You see, it's been partially filled by fat, and so the space where the blood flows is actually minimized. So your organs cannot actually receive the blood that they have to normally receive, and then this causes a lot of issues. Like you could get an angina, you could get a heart attack, you could get sudden death, and all those kind of stuff. Also, obviously, obesity in most cases goes hand in hand with diabetes. Okay, so most people with diabetes have they're obese, or most people with obesity have diabetes. Now, let me explain to you how it works. So when there's a lot of fat in your body, the fat inhibits the action of insulin. So insulin is a hormone which actually helps the body to take up sugar from the blood into the intracellular fluids, into the intracellular space where the body uses up the sugar. But fat blocks that. So then you have a lot of sugar running about in your body, which cannot be. Okay. And then your heart rate goes up, your respiratory rate goes up, and you're actually at risk of getting some organ failure because let's say this artery is blocked near the kidneys. What happens is that you're not going to get enough blood to the kidneys, and then your kidney is going to shut down. If this happens near the liver, you're not going to get enough blood flow to the liver, and your liver is going to shut down. So based on where this happens, you have a very high chance of these things, causing some other organs to shut down, and you can get an organ failure just because of this. Okay.
Wow. Question.
Yep.
So, just for educational purposes, it doesn't really matter what type of environment you live in. Because I'm saying this because someone made a statement to me one time. I guess they told them that that their cholesterol is high, right? And the person's statement was, well, we all don't live in America. Sometimes based on where you live, you might need a little bit more cholesterol because, for example, we live in like a high heat environment, like it's hot all the time here. So you need some type of cholesterol to like keep your body neutralized to, absorb the heat. So the environment, you have to consider the environment when it comes to cholesterol level. Can you educate on that?
Not scientifically proven. From when you're talking about heat, it should rather be the reverse. That people who live in the cold climate should even get like more fat in the
to insulate them.
so that's against science. There's no scientific evidence of that.
So you don't need, just because you live in Ghana and it's hot there, you don't need extra extra cholesterol to protect you from the heat.
No, you don't need anything. You don't need anything like that. You don't. So what happens is that, so we come back to the heart now. So now the heart works faster than it should. It works much more harder than it should, and so the heart becomes bigger. Now when the heart becomes bigger, it gradually gets weak, and then you go into heart failure. Now heart failure is not something that's going to kill you one day. It's a progressive thing. So there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, which I sent a picture she's going to project. There's to be able to walk up the staircase, but they can't do it anymore because when they are going up the staircase, they get short of breath, right? And then there are people who can't even push the trolley when shopping. They just can't because they're just going out of breath. That's because the heart is failing. The heart is failing so bad. Okay. Well, no, this is self-explanatory. This is when the no, not this one, not this one. She'll find it. She'll bring it up. No,
You can't see. Go get your glasses.
The pictures, when you upload them, is super tiny. So I'm like literally trying to stretch my eyes I wish I could read it from here.
She'll find it. It's okay.
He says stages. No, this is not.
Yes, I think you projected it earlier on.
Let me
And then,
see. Is it this one?
No, you showed it sometime before. It's the one with the heart, and then you have people. Yes, this one exactly. Let me see.
There we go.
Mood.
Stages. Mhm.
Um, when they get your, and then stage 2, you get breathless when you're walking. Stage 3 is actually you're tired with very simple tasks, and then you have stage 4, you're tired even when you're sitting. So if you look at the small thing over there, you see the artery of the heart which is blocked, and it's usually blocked with fat. You showed a lot of pictures with blocked arteries. You could, if you could show any of those, anything with a blocked artery. Yeah, that this is perfect. So you see the first one, which is a healthy artery. See how the blood cells are moving. You see the second one when there's a plaque, so it's not moving like, I mean, there's some form of resistance, right? And then you see the third one where there's almost a complete occlusion, and this is just because of the level of cholesterol, which is secondary to obesity in most cases. Okay, so someone will ask, when someone will say that all of this is abstract in real life, what does it mean if you are obese? In real life, when you're obese and when you have hyperlipidemia, which is excess fat in your system, you're at risk of a heart attack. That's number one. You're at risk of a stroke. You're at risk of a heart failure. Why are you at risk of a stroke? You're at risk of a stroke because if this happens in your brain, you see the thrombosis over there. If it happens in your brain, and your brain does not receive the amount of blood and the amount of oxygen it requires, you get a stroke. That's very. If it happens in your kidneys, you're gonna get a kidney failure. If it happens, it's gonna even happen in your lung. Your lungs will fail. So wherever this happens, whichever organ this happens in, that organ is gonna fail because the organ would not receive how much the much needed blood and the needed oxygen for it to work. Okay, so we hear about this thing all the time where you say that, oh, people, how do you call it, that, oh, the guy was okay, everything was fine, and then he just slumped and died.
Just died.
It wasn't okay at all. Most people are literally walking dead, and this is one thing.
Wow.
And there is also another very important thing which is very common, and now a lot of attention is being paid to, and that's sleep apnea. You see, is what happens when there is obstruction in your airway when you sleep. So again, here you have a sheath, right, and then you have your airways and all those things there, which can also be clogged by a lot of fat. So there's this whole notion that fat people snore a lot, right? This is very true. But then sometimes the snoring is because of obstruction. Okay. Sometimes it's not just snoring. There are people who, quote unquote, stop breathing a lot of times during their sleep because
Wow.
they're obstructed. Yes, it's called sleep apnea. So that can kill you. You die in your sleep because your body is not able to carry oxygen from here to your lungs. Just
Is that
because,
due to obesity?
yeah, yeah. A lot of people who get sleep apnea are obese.
Wow. Wow. For some reason, I thought that was related to like your sinuses and,
Yes.
you know, yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
that's but a big chunk of people who have sleep apnea is secondary to obesity. Okay. The thing is that in the past we used to think that these things were for old people, but no. Now we're seeing people slumber in their 30s, people in their 20s, people in their 40s is becoming much more common for people in their 40s and 30s to have this thing. Yes, there is the genetic aspect of it, where some people have done nothing wrong, but then their bodies just cannot process fat and lipids properly, and their bodies cannot just process food properly, and so they just tend to be obese, right? But then most of it is lifestyle. Most of it is from sedentary lifestyle. So not being very, eating late at night, eating very oily foods, and then that's what causes this. However, there is some good news. Okay, the good news is that a lot of these best, right? So studies show that if you just lose 10% of your body weight, between 5 to 10%, your blood pressure goes down, your cholesterol goes down, you sleep better, you become much more active, and you become much more energetic just within weeks. Okay, so it's really, really simple. Once we decide to eat like real food, and cut down on the junk, you move daily like you did. Unfortunately, a lot of people work at desks now. So you spend maybe 8 hours sitting on a desk. You spend sitting in a car, going to the desk. You sit, and when you finish sitting at the desk, you sit in a car and you go back home. And you probably
To sit on the
behind the
couch.
screen. Yeah, you sit on. So it becomes much more difficult in this day and age for people to become very active. So you have to literally make it a point to walk.
Yeah.
Now we have a lot of help with smartwatches where you have the rings on the watch, right? On Apple watches, you have the rings, daily ring, which tells you, you have to move, or you haven't moved enough today, or this or that. So you have all of those things which help you now. It could be just 3 times a week or 4 times a week. Just take a brisk walk, 15 minutes in, 15 minutes out, or something like that. And there's also another big smoking. For some reason, smoking really increases your chances of getting atherosclerosis. So if you are a smoker, you may want to cut down on it. I always say that I do not have the place to tell people to stop smoking, because so most people, they've been doing it for much longer than my age, and so it's not up to me to tell them to stop smoking, but I can tell them to reduce smoking, and that's actually extends your lifespan. We all have some guilty pleasures one way or the other, so I'm not going to tell you to stop eating or to stop doing what you do to make you happy. Life is short. But you have to do it in moderation, and you have to be aware of the risks that they carry. So essentially, obesity in itself does not break the heart suddenly, but then it wears it down gradually. Okay, when we act on it very early, we are able to save the heart and save the body. So yeah, I think we can do the Q&A now. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Yeah, that when you hear all this, it's kind of scary.
It is scary.
Like you said, there's so many people, or so many of us, just we're walking dead. Because you get all this, symptoms, like you run, and not even run, like you walk up the stairs and you're huffing and puffing because you're so tired, right? Not really relating it to something must be wrong. Just because you're not like knocked down sick, right? You don't bring attention to it. You're just kind of like, oh, it's regular, it's normal. And then you go on your day, not knowing that these things are just, building in your system slowly. And then next thing you know, like you said, they're like, there was nothing wrong with them and they're dead. But there was something wrong with them.
Yeah, there was.
Before somebody die, there's signs, that has been ignored. There are symptoms that have been ignored and not treated. And that's really unfortunate. Go ahead.
I believe he already gave this clarification, but I just want to ask again. So someone can look very young and healthy and have a lot of muscle, the illustration to that picture you showed. But then this person climbs up the stairs and back down, and they're tired or out of breath. So does that mean that could be a sign of a heart issue?
Yes, it could be a sign of so many things, with a heart issue being part of them. It could be a sign of a heart issue, it could be a sign of metabolism issue, it could be a sign of a lung issue, or it could just be a sign of their body not having enough stamina. Okay, because if you think of people who go to the gym, a lot of people go to the gym and just do weights. They don't do anything about cardio. So they're very well built, right? But then their cardiac health is rubbish. It's nothing to write about.
Yeah.
Or if you ask them to run for 1 mile or 2 miles, they can't. But then if you them to lift 100 pounds, they will be able to lift it. That's because the heart is not involved necessarily in lifting. You're using the muscles which are using to lift.
There's a question that says, could you please share more details on the sleep apnea?
Yeah, of course. So sleep apnea is, put it this way. Sleep apnea technically is a condition where people stop breathing repeatedly when they are asleep.
Can it just be like once, like, or does it have to like be continuous, like it's intermittently, like as you sleep?
Yes. And people can have the breathing pauses can last, like, it could be just a short moment, or it can for longer periods, right? The problem with sleep apnea is that in that moment, the closest you can get to death is when you are sleeping. All right, that's the closest. There are two main things which cause sleep apnea. There is the central sleep apnea, which is caused by the part of your brain which controls breathing, and there's not much you can do about it with your lifestyle. And then you have obstructive sleep apnea, where the airway literally collapses. Okay, so the airway just collapses, and then you can't breathe. Okay, the problem is that in obese people, you have a lot of fat around your neck and your throat, right? Also, the fat. So there's a big. Let me just put it this way: there's a big tissue called the omentum, the omental bursa. That's what gives the pot belly, right? It's just full of fat. So think of the chest, the thoracic cavity, as a space, yeah, and then the lungs have to be able to expand, and then also be deflated. It has to be free to do all these things. Okay. Now, when you are obese, you have so much fat, and you have so much fat tissue in your abdominal cavity that your diaphragm cannot really expand properly. Okay? So your lungs are not able to expand to their full capacity. That's one big problem. Let's start from there. Now, while you are asleep, the tissues around here and also in your neck area are also much bigger. So if you're lying like this, there's force of gravity, which happens, like which is happening all around us everywhere. That's what brings things down. When you throw something, it comes down. That's the force of gravity. So when you're sleeping too, everything, say you're sleeping on your back, everything up is kind of putting pressure on your body, right? And if you look the other way, it's also the same. So while you're sleeping this way, all the fatty tissues and everything here is putting pressure on your airway. So your airway gets constricted. And so
And that's due to fat, like that's due to fat being around your airways.
yes, there is that. There is that.
Okay.
And that lung cannot expand properly because the diaphragm is restricted, because you have a lot of fat tissues in your abdominal region.
Okay. There's a question here for you. There's questions. It says that, can you please have them touched on sugar, and does sugar really, or excessive intaking of sugar, has anything to do with the heart? And the next question on WhatsApp, I just lost the question. Okay, it says, what is the proper way to actually sleep?
Okay, so there's nothing like a proper way to sleep.
A way to sleep.
So I just want to walk you through this. Think about this. You fall asleep. Okay. When you fall asleep, all your muscles normally have to relax. Okay. So the throat muscles and everything will relax as well. Now, if the airway collapses, your oxygen levels will drop. When the oxygen levels drops, like your body goes into a panic state. Okay, it's like, what is happening? And your body responds immediately. So your heart rate and your blood pressure goes up, and then you realize that there'll be people that'll be sleeping, and all of a sudden they kind of gasp for air in their sleep, or they kind of wake up abruptly, like they're running out of breath.
Yeah.
It's like once every month or once every now and then. That's fine, but it happens in some people maybe 5 times a night or 10 times a night. Now, the problem is that most people, when this happens, because they are sleeping, they are not aware of it. So they go to bed, they wake up in the morning, and they don't feel well rested.
Mm-hmm.
People can fall asleep during the day. They could be driving and they could doze off and just crash the car. That's because even though they slept at night, but their body was not very well rested. And so that leads them to sleep behind the steering wheel and crash the car.
Somebody said here that sleep apnea is normal amongst soldiers.
Yes.
Is that do you know why that would be? Because I would think they work out. So would that be what could be the cause?
Hold on, there's something new. Most soldiers don't eat right. Imagine having an energy drink or coffee in the morning as a breakfast and drinking a lot of alcohol. That's the military culture for most people. Yeah, the military job sometimes become physically demanding, so imagine not taking care of yourself. I agree with her 100%. I agree with her 100%. So, there are lots of things which become the norm, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. Okay. So the fact that you're not sleeping properly, or you're living your life on energy drinks, or you're eating junk and stuff like that, and that becomes the normal culture, the normal practice, doesn't mean it's the rightful thing to do. Okay. That's not right at all. That doesn't mean that is right. Also, you see, there's one big thing which can happen when people have sleep apnea. You see, there are episodes where you stop breathing. When you stop breathing, there is less blood flow to the brain. When there is less brain, you can have a stroke.
Yeah.
You could have a stroke. Okay. But these are one things that married people or people who live with other people can actually benefit from, in the sense that if you live alone, you may not know these things about yourself. But then if you sleep with another person in the room, they could tell you, they
When
could
you're not breathing.
tell you that, hey, you woke up a lot of times during the night and you woke up gasping for air, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone tells you something like that, take it very important. Treat it as high importance. Go speak to your doctors. They'll conduct a sleep study. Okay. They'll a device to keep at home, send it to the doctor's office. They would see how many times you stop breathing during the night, and then they'll take it from there.
Yeah. Wow. But then you said if it happens maybe once a month, like on and off, or it's okay. Is it really okay though? Because you're still not breathing and blood is not going to your head, your brain.
So the thing is this: if you take the heart, for example, the heart has to beat a particular way, right?
Mm-hmm.
That way all the time. There are times where your heart will skip a beat, or there are times where your heart will beat. There will be one extra beat. Sometimes it happens. Like you could just be walking and you feel that your heart has missed a beat or skipped a beat. If it happens once out of nowhere, it's okay. It's fine. But if it's something which consistently happens, then we have a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
So someone asked about the sugar issue. I don't know.
The question.
Yeah, she was saying that. Can you touch on the intake of sugar and how that can affect our heart, if possible?
Yes, of course. So, obviously, the body uses sugar, right? So sugar is a very good thing that our body needs. That's number one. Number two, excessive intake of anything at all for the body is bad. Excessive intake puts a lot of burden on the body system to break down sugar. When you're born, your body has a particular amount of sugar that it can break down. Okay? No one knows exactly how much sugar. Also, different people's bodies can break different quantities of sugar down. So once your body finishes breaking the number of sugar down, it has finished doing its job of breaking down sugars. So your body can no longer break down any more sugar. Some people do that, Some people will use 70 years to do that. Some people would never even finish using all of that until they die. Okay. So it's very important for you to not overburden, because once that system shuts down, your body can no longer use up the sugar. The sugar stays in your bloodstream. Your blood sugar goes up. And then it's actually really, really very simple to understand what it does to your body. Think of the blood. Now it has more sugar. It becomes thicker. So it cannot flow as effectively as it should. You become diabetic. You become obese because the sugar is just running all over the place and you keep on putting weight. And then blood pressure is going to go up because the heart will have to pump more to be able to move the thicker blood around the body. The heart is going to grow bigger because now it has to work more. And that is the beginning of the end. Because then everything starts going downhill from there. I mean, if there is not, that takes you to your grave much earlier.
How do we reverse it? All of that.
Well,
once you have it, how do you reverse it?
Before you answer Anaya's question, someone says on WhatsApp, it says that, can you please ask him if it's true that wired bra can have some, can cause you, oh, why are you laughing?
Wired bra can have issue with what?
Can cause, like, so basically she's been having chest pain and she's been told that a wired bra can do that, can cause you to have pain in that area.
That is not her bra.
Stop it. So let me find out from him.
So number one, where is the pain? Where exactly is the pain? If the pain is in the along the path of wherever the wire is,
you said the chest.
The chest underneath, so apparently right under.
Look.
No, why did you roll your eyes? That's her question. She wants to know.
I'm not. Yeah. Questions like chest pain is one thing we don't joke with, okay? Because chest pain could also chest pain could just be a muscle pain, right? So whenever anyone presents with a chest pain, we have to do the full workout. So we need to do an X-ray. We need to do an ECG. Very importantly, we call it EKG in the US, where we put some tests and read. See. Where we see how the heart is behaving and all those kind of stuff. But apart, like in all of that, whether it's from a bra or it's from a shirt or whatever it is, you never joke with chest pain. So whoever is having chest pain now, it's better to go have all the to see what's happening and realize that there's nothing, than to actually think there's nothing and die from something which could have been reversed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a story, something which happened. We're in February now. So in December, I got a call, right? I was away on holiday and then I got a call. And a lady who I know, she's 43. She told me that she was on holiday and then she just had a discharge in one of her boobs. And I said, okay, just get an ultrasound. Okay? So she was like, oh, no, it's nothing. I just want to see what's happening. Has this ever happened to you before? No. Is it inflamed, swollen? No. I just woke up and I started seeing this discharge. Okay. I told her, go and get an ultrasound before anything. 2 days later, she called me and told me that she's having some pain in her armpits on the side where the thing was coming off from. So I told her immediately. I actually shouted at her on the phone. So I get an ultrasound immediately. She said, okay, she got an ultrasound. It wasn't good news, okay? She had some breast cancer. That was my suspicion, actually.
Yeah.
She had breast cancer, and so I on treatment immediately. I met her in church today, and she responded very well to treatment. So, but so now, she's doing very well. She's doing very well.
Good.
But was caught very early. Okay, I mean, a lot of women in this day and age are lost to breast cancer. partially because it's not found out early. And even in this woman, she had never done a mammogram. She had never really gone to do like which she had to do. She had never done it. It's probably something which had been there for years, if not months. And if she had done it, if she had just done a mammogram, it would have been noticed and it would have been sorted with. We still fought it early and she did very well with it, okay? And now like she's back to her normal life. She came, I saw her in church today and everyone is happy. And so my point is that if you have chest pain, yes, it could be from your bra, but it could also be from something. So it's best you go to do the full to rule out anything sinister.
Okay, my last question. There's a question on WhatsApp. He said, Lady Mary, I'm watching this with my wife, and I'm actually glad to have cut the show at this point of time. I hope I'm not diverting your topic, but please ask the doctor this for me. I'm here with my wife, and every time I try to lay my head on her chest, she claims that it hurts. We've gone to the doctor. The doctor said there was nothing wrong with her. She keeps complaining every time I try to lay my head on her chest. Can you please have the doctor explain what could be the issue? She's right here with me.
Well, she doesn't want you to lay your head on her chest.
That's what I'm about to say. He wants a doctor's input so he can say there's nothing wrong with you.
Probably she doesn't want you to lay your head on her chest. But it could also be a muscular problem. It could be musculoskeletal, because there are a lot of times where people get something called chondro. You could get chondritis, okay, which is just an inflammation of the bones, okay, or you could just get an inflammation of some of the ligaments, some of the tendons, or some of the cartilages, okay. So we will not see that on an X-ray, probably not even on a CT. And then we could only see that on an MRI, but we may not put you through an MRI if we see nothing on an X-ray, we see nothing on a CT. And if the heart, an ECG is done and the heart is fine, we will not proceed to do any further tests, right? So it could just be that it's a muscular problem, or it could just be that your wife doesn't want you to put your head on her chest, or it could just be that your head is very heavy. It could be...
I actually laughed because that was somebody sent a follow-up comment on WhatsApp and says, is it possible that the husband's head is too heavy?
I mean, get it checked out. You never know. Get it checked out. Go to the doctor. Get it checked out.
He just said they've been to the hospital when she started saying that because he wanted to know if something was true.
Oh, the doctor said there's nothing wrong with that.
Wrong.
Answers are very simple, you know. She doesn't want your head on her chest.
Next time, go to the doctor alone. Don't take your husband. You can come back and give your own report.
Yeah.
Any other? That's the last question I had.
So how do we reverse it? Like if you're already in the situation with the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all of the high stuff. How do you reverse it?
Few ways, right? It depends on the stage you are in. If it's the very early stages, you could reverse it with lifestyle modification. But if it's not very early stages, then medications. So medications to slow down the heart if the heart is beating faster than normal. We could use some medications to lower your cholesterol. Okay, and then now there are actually medications to also slow down people's appetite, which help people to lose weight. That is also an option people are exploring now. So there are weight loss medications, there are cholesterol lowering medication, there are high blood pressure medications, and there are heart slowing medications.
How about people that don't want to be on medication?
Well, that's a very interesting situation. So basically, there are some people who say they don't want to be on medication, especially men, right? And that's because some of the blood pressure lowering medications can potentially cause erectile dysfunction and stuff like that. Right. It does not necessarily cause erectile dysfunction. It just causes weakened erections. Okay. That's because the blood flow is kind of slowed down. So this is what I tell my patients. Some of them don't like it, but some of them like it. I try to be very honest with them, and I give them two scenarios. That you have the first scenario where your blood pressure is very high, okay, and you don't take the medication just because it's gonna potentially affect your sexual life, and then you are 100% assured that either you're gonna get a stroke from the blood pressure, or you're gonna die from the blood pressure. Okay, one of them would probably happen. You get a stroke, or you're gonna die. And then what becomes of your sexual life? It's non-existent. Okay. Then your wife is going to go on with her life. She's going to get married. She get married to another person, and she will get that satisfaction from someone else. Most probably. That's the first option. Option two, you could take the medication and prolong your life. It's up to you to choose. So it becomes a question of, and there are people who actually go on the medication for a period of time, and then they go down on the medication. Okay. So yeah, how much do you love your life? How much is your life worth? There's a medication which can fix your situation, but you don't want to take the medication. That's all right. I'll send you a flower at your funeral.
If you're just tuning in for the first time, this is the chat room, a platform dedicated to resolving daily life's issues. Tonight, we are here with our very own Dr. James Ekow-Annan, and we are so glad to have him here. If you joined us last 2 weeks, quiet, insightful, and it's been a blessing. Over here in the chat room, every month we pick a topic and we make sure to stay on top of that topic till we've done justice to various parts of it. And sadly, we are bringing our session to an end. But if you haven't followed, please follow our page so that whenever we come live with such educative discussions, you would be alerted so that you can join us. I'm here today with my co-host, Sarpong. My name is LadyMary Boadu, right here every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Doc, I'm so glad to have you, and I'm glad that you honored all of our invitation. And thank you for the insight. It's too much being poured out tonight. We appreciate you. I know it's late at your end, so we are not going to hold you, but I know for sure you're going to come back to the chat room. So we have that conversation behind back door. Nanaya, any words before we let him go?
No, just thank you again. This is
Thank you.
a free but very worthy information. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Please, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you all. Without you, we wouldn't have a show. Clara said, obviously, Ghana jollof rice because. All right, everybody, have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right, then.
Bye.
Yo. Now your matter with the talk. Your life, your wahala, your breakthrough. Welcome to the chat room.
This no be ordinary place. Now a solution they show face. LadyMary they lead the way. With guess where go blow your brain. Talk your matter make we solve 'em. No judgment, just love and